So good afternoon. 2 o'clock have passed. Could you please give me some feedback? Do you hear me? Okay, thank you. Hopefully you had a good lunch and now you're eager to hear more about open science and scholarly communication. And this conference and this session is probably the best place to talk about and discuss about those topics. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dražen Koceljak and I will be chairing this session. First half hour is allocated for keynote. After that, we have 4 speakers, 15 minutes each, and we'll end the session with a Q&A for those 4 presentations. We'll end the session about 15:45, and I'm inviting all of you to participate in the session with your questions. You can write them down in the Q&A section. There is also a chat available. Chat is for sending messages to other participants and not for questions. And that is all for the housekeeping. And our first speaker, our keynote speaker is Dr. Arianna Becerril García. She's a full-time professor and researcher at the Autonomous University of State of Mexico. She is part of founding team and executive director of the network of scientific journals from Latin America and Caribbean, Spain and Portugal. She's also the founder and the president of Amelica, co-founder of a Mexican network of institutional repositories. She's involved in many other organizations, like the Directory of Open Access Journals, then invest in open infrastructures, and so on. So we have excellent keynote speaker, and she will talk about successful alternatives to commercial publishing and APC business model. Usually I would say, Arianna, the floor is yours. Maybe now it's more appropriate to say the Zoom is yours.
Thank you very much for the introduction. But thank you for the opportunity to be here. Really, it's an honor for me to share today's keynote. Thank you very much for the invitation. And today I would like to talk about our work from Latin America, especially the work that we have been doing in Redalic and recently in the Amelica initiative. But I would like to highlight the model in which Latin America have been operating open access and scholarly communications for decades. So I think this is important to understand why these initiatives emerge and which business model they are using. So first of all, that it's important to fuse map the territory. We are very used to see the mainstream science, which is considered the one that is published in journals indexed in Scopus or Web of Science, but not necessarily. In Latin America, we have an ecosystem that has been operating in different places, and it is not necessarily peripheral science as sometimes it is considered like that, but not necessarily. So I'm sorry, yeah, okay. So for example, this is an analysis of collaboration based on Redalic, and this is the analysis of collaboration based on Scopus. So you can see different gravity centers, there's different interactions in the. I'm going to stop my video because perhaps I have not very good quality bandwidth. Okay, And the second one, you can see the data based on Redalic, which is more interactive in the Global South, more interactive in Latin America, less focus or less center in Europe, for example, or in the United States. So you can see different realities depending on which circuit you are analyzing this kind of scientific collaboration. So we see this clear fragmentation in scholarly communication worldwide. We really believe that science should be a global, participatory, and equitable conversation. And these COVID times show us that we need to collaborate, to share, no matter geographical restrictions, no matter business models. So we sometimes see this north-south fragmentation, but also this fragmentation in terms of commercial versus non-commercial business models. And I would like to say that, or highlight in this sense, that now when a global flip is seek in terms of achieving open access, and in this sense transforming the pay-to-read model to a pay-to-publish models, we think that this is going to create a new exclusionary landscape. So this is for us very worrying, because the restrictions are transforming in the past, where it used to be at the reading process or the reading phase in the knowledge generation life cycle, but now it's going to be in the phase of publishing, of publication at the beginning of the cycle. So I think the restrictions are going to be transpolated into other phase. So once again, less researchers are going to be excluded, and countries, academic institutions, and the research community perhaps do not have any control beyond commercial agreements. If the flip, like for example, Plan S is going to, or is trying to implement as it is, perhaps it's going to create a new exclusionary landscape. And this is exactly the story of the subscription model, but now it is in the other side. But there's as well a new exclusionary landscape here. So we wonder if is it the most creative approach we as the current society could design to address the root problem? Well, we don't think so. There are other alternatives or business models that have been proven to be successful and to be effective, but perhaps they are not well known in other parts of the world, but they are working. Especially when the cost of communicating scientific research, as Jean-Claude says, is a tiny fraction of the cost of research. So why a particular phase of the research cycle have to obey these financial rules or financial market rules, coach in terms of sustainability, while the overwhelming part of scientific research has to be constantly subsidized? This is what we have to ask. What role will the academic community play to face this challenge? I am sorry to say this, but sometimes universities are becoming administrators or in accountability projects when we think about scholarly communication. They are not engaged, they are not involved really with this particular phase of the cycle. And we don't like that. We don't like universities to be administrative of bills and projects, but in terms of accountability, we would like to see universities part of the of this process, as they usually do with research processes. So why not do it as well with publishing? And also, we believe that technology is enabling a scenario with the potential to redraw the landscape. So we have new possibilities for other models to be competitive and even disruptive. This is very important. So we are focused on these four dimensions to address. The first one is the research and journal assessment. We believe that if journal and research assessment don't evolve along with open access business models and technologies right now, open access is not getting, or at least non-commercial open access is not getting the full advantage. So to be competitive, we have to focus on quality, of course, and we look for organic visibility. So to dissociate this proprietary prestige that is very focused on impact factors and commercial databases to other venues of prestige, the traditional venues of prestige that were in the community for decades in the research community. So we are looking to get this organic visibility beyond these commercial databases. And we also leverage technology for efficiency and sustainability in different processes. And I'm going to talk a minute about this. In this sense, Latin America has created and maintains a non-commercial structure where scientific publishing belongs to academic institutions and not to large publishers. So in this sense, every investment made by each institution that are running journals is benefit everyone. So in this sense, in universities, research centers, academic associations, even governments are supporting journals that are driven with their own members. So for example, a researcher project is to run a journal inside the university, so it is part of the community. And this model does not include any fee, either for readers nor for authors. So it is, we believe, a healthy environment for scholarly communication. This infrastructure or regional infrastructure is sustained by hundreds of journals run in universities, but with their own websites and with their own editorial teams. But above this, we have different platforms and different services provided by others, like in this case, Cielo, La Referencia, Latindex, Redalic, Claxo, and some others, which are non-profit platforms that add value to this to the original published content in terms of visibility, edition, quality assurance metrics that in other parts of the world are services provided by commercial publishers. So in this open access environment, there's a lot of public investment, as you can see here, who is sustaining this non-profit publishing, especially the academic institutions, as you can see. The majority of them, well, more than 96% are non-profit institutions. These sometimes involve private money, yes, because there are a lot of private universities as part of this ecosystem. But the interesting thing is that we have a distribution of costs with a very important participation of public money and with a total involvement of universities and academia. So in this sense, we have to take advantage of this regional ecosystem in order to build an infrastructure that provides this some added value services in order to help journals to be sustainable, but also to be competitive and innovative. We promote this model as an academia-owned, which immediate open access, not for profit, with no APCs involved, technologically leveraged, and sustained cooperatively. So, well, Redalic, for the ones that are not familiar with it, is an infrastructure that supports academia-owned non-profit scholarly publishing by providing technology and sharing this, in this sense, knowledge that contributes to the professionalization of journals, the quality assurance and sustainability. When a journal gets indexed in Redalic, it obtains different services and benefits that complement their own functionalities that are present in their own websites or in the publishing institutions. So in this sense, well, this is the journal architecture. We are based on an index that guarantees this quality of the journals following this journal assessment process. And we also have this layer of journal production workflow. So we have designed some algorithms and some tools to transform the traditional journal production workflow into something more efficient based on the XML file format, and taking advantage of structured file formats to generate automatically different file formats, even the print-on-demand version of journals. So we are contributing in savings inside the universities to produce journals. But perhaps the most important thing is that this technology enables journals to have this very granular level of content dissemination. For example, here we can see how mathematical expression or a table data or this supplementary material is identified. Every single piece of information is tagged, so it can be processable after publication, but also that it enables to be connected to other databases or integrated in other services. So this is a very good practice in terms of open data to be able to replicate the findings that are being shown in a particular paper. So this technology allows that, but also to get all these data formats, interactive article reader, mobile article reader, and the PDF automatically as well, the EPUB, the HTML only with one click. And they have the possibility to export all of this information into their own websites. The Redalic model includes as well different home pages, different outputs, in this case by country, by area, journal, so services in terms of information retrieval, but as well in terms of metrics, because as I said, we are very focused on finding different ways to assess science. And we are as well getting into disseminating technologies and web semantic and different linked open data sources. So publish this information or to deploy this information in the web with a upper level of interoperability or visibility. These are our numbers at a glance. We have journals from 31 countries. Recently, Africa, some countries of Africa and India have starting to index journals in the platform and to start using this technology to get this publication processes done. And so the idea or the model behind this is to seek this organic visibility, discoverability, and impact in terms of having the possibility to interconnect every piece of information that is present in a paper into a wider cloud, which linked open data allows that. But as well, the traditional web is better, is more discoverable if we have the content in this sense. So in terms of fragmentation, we have seen as well fragmentation in the regional ecosystem. As I said before, one approach is science as a commodity. We are not in this approach, which is more composed by or of university rankings, impact factor based research assessment, transformative agreements, commercial open access strategies, APCs. We are more on the science as commons approach, which is non-APC, which is empowering editors to use this technology to be sustainable and to be widely disseminated, to leverage technology to succeed in this sense, to align to the principles of the Declaration of San Francisco Dora. And I mean, so in this sense, and this is my final part. So in this sense, we had to act in response, as we are seeing that this commercial approach is taking some strategies that are not good for inclusion and that are not good for equitable participation. So different institutions and organizations in Latin America decide to work together in an initiative that is called AMELICA, which is a multi-institutional community-driven initiative supported by UNESCO and led by Redalic and Claxo, which is aimed to provide a cooperative, sustainable, and to protect this ecosystem, this non-commercial ecosystem, and to empower it. So there are different institutions along Latin America, and recently other regions, which are in charge of a specific process of which are part of the business model and the governance of the initiative. This project inherited all the technology that was developed by Redalic. So in this sense, we think it is possible to run communication in a non-commercial circuit. And we have learned some lessons from the Latin American culture and the Latin American way of operate. So it is possible to run journal publishing on a not-for-profit basis with no APC in a cooperative approach where everyone gets benefit from everyone's investment, a distribution of cost among many stakeholders, universities, academic institutions, governments. Journal publishing in hands of the academic sector promotes more inclusive scholarly communication. Imagine if every university in the world run its journals free of APC, we would have a great ecosystem to publish without economical restrictions. And as the Latin American Journal Editors does, to take publishing as part of the academic activities, but also as part of or a subject of research. So this is a very interesting thing that happens in Latin America, that we are always thinking on how to evolve this publishing sector as it is in hands of the academic community. AMELICA and Redalic focus their efforts on preserving this academia-owned non-commercial publishing by, as I said before, leveraging technologies. In this case, for example, the tools that we saw are based on some artificial intelligence algorithms and some techniques of semantic web to contribute in journal sustainability and to prevent the adoption of for-profit business models. So we believe that by developing this software, we can enhance the data to contribute as well in the pursuit of this organic visibility and discoverability in such a way that impact and research assessment are dissociated from commercial databases. I think we have shown that it is possible, it is feasible. We have journals of quality. We have perhaps parallel reality working in Latin America and in the Global South, but we really believe that this model should be strengthened and should be taken into consideration when a global flip is intended to achieve open access. Well, thank you very much. And if you have any question, I will be happy to answer it.
So thank you, Arianna, for a very inspiring presentation. We have questions. Question from Sue Gardner. What about copyright and licensing in Redalic? Could you speak about this, please?
Yes. Well, in terms of licensing, in this sense, the majority of our journals use Creative Commons licensing, and we encourage these licenses to have the content available in Redalic as well. We sign an agreement with each journal publisher in terms of letting us to publish the content in the platform. And we promote as well with the Declaration of Mexico the use of the non-commercial use of this content, as we believe we have no a lot of clarity of different commercial strategies in terms of the use of the content. But so we are very aligned with Creative Commons licenses.
Okay, thank you. Another question is, would you be so kind and explain more in detail the relationships between Redalic, America, and Cielo? Are they overlapping in some segments?
Well, yes. Well, in the case of Redalic and America, it's a little bit clearer, because Redalic has this rigorous journal assessment process to guarantee that the most quality journals are indexed in Redalic. And together with America has this index of journals that are in the process of consolidation, that are not meeting the criteria that Redalic requires, but they need this technology to reducing this gap with the quality ones. So America is providing this technology for journals that are in the process of consolidation. And so in this sense, they are complementary. Redalic having the most quality journals, which are more than 1,000 journals, and America to help other journals to achieve these quality standards. But in terms of Cielo, the comparison with Cielo, I have to say that Cielo started like 5 years before Redalic with a similar model in terms of strategy, but we have been, sorry?
Could you please repeat the last 2 sentences? We had some issues with audios, with the sound.
Oh, yeah. I was talking about the comparison between Redalic and Cielo. So Cielo started with the natural medical sciences, and Redalic started for social sciences. And with the time, both platforms started to include different disciplines. So now we have an overlap of about 50% of journals, but we have running different business models. So Cielo is more focused to integrate or to embed the regional science into the mainstream, and we are working to, or we argue that we cannot be, we can perform our visibility apart from the commercial circuit. So we are working in this different goals in terms of this relationship with commercial entities. For example, Cielo signed this agreement with Clarivate Analytics to get the Cielo citation index in order to have this impact factor presence of Latin American journals in Web of Science. And in the case of Redalic, we are working with different research groups to find different strategies to assess journals and to evaluate journals and to develop different metrics and qualitative strategies to determine different ways of assess quality. So in this sense, we are kind of different.
Okay, thank you. I have one question. So you talked about those platforms that you developed in Latin America, and we in Croatia have similar platforms, some kind of platforms, and in other regions, countries,
services like the ones provided by Redalic can be or can benefit other regions and other journals that are not able currently to achieve this or to have this kind of technology, and that sometimes they have to hire external or outsource these processes. But in this sense, we have to cooperate. Yeah, I believe that in order as well to have or to reach this visibility in other parts of the world. We have, as you correctly said, sometimes we are working as isolated items in the web with the potential to really integrate our services or to help others to reach other regions and other readers and other researchers, to encourage collaboration. And if we encourage this collaboration and this dissemination or fast dissemination of content, we really believe that we are contributing in the development of the science itself, but also with the development of humanity, because we are disseminating as fast as we can the content with all the possibilities or technological possibilities that we have today. So we have to collaborate together.
Okay, thank you, Arianna, again for a great presentation. We'll have to continue with the session.